Good. So yes, welcome everyone. This is Henry Lepler for Good of the Whole. And I'm sitting in for Shelley, who will be back next week, so just next Monday. She'll be back from her adventures in the East Coast, the northern East Coast, and also in Europe, in France, and I think she's in the UK right now. So please remember to use her Zoom channel, which will be posted on the invitation if you don't already have it bookmarked. So anyway, I guess what came to mind of this time of year was when I saw the Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, outdoors a number of years ago, and just kind of the joyful expression of that comedy. And it's one of the most loved plays of Shakespeare. And so to me, that is kind of an expression or an example of self-expression and the joy of self-expression, which relates to our reflection today, is about knowing yourself and showing yourself of the complementary parts of the adventure of awakening, which are self-realization and self-expression. So again, we return to the watering hole at this time of year, and to me, it's a little like an oasis of light outdoors, where the sunshine really feeds us and the light. Hopefully it isn't too hot where you are, or if it is, maybe enjoying that in the early mornings or in the evening hours especially. So it's a time that relates to the sunlight on water, because there is so much light. And our skin is able to have more connection with the air, with the elements. And as well, it's a time where at least there are more opportunities to walk barefoot on the earth. So let me see, June is not here yet. She's going to be doing the attunement. Let me just give a few simple guidelines for those who may be new to this call. And so we ask you to put yourself on mute unless you're speaking. Let me see, and begin by saying your name so those on the phone will know who is speaking. And we invite you to speak from essence, or to speak from your heart to the whole, or to the center of the circle, the center of the field. And speaking from your direct experience in the present moment, opening to that. And just another part is we listen for what is emerging organically in the field, kind of following the thread from the sharing before, the sharings that have already been expressed. And let me say, we ask that you limit your contribution to 1 to 2 minutes at a time, and you can speak more than once. We have a smaller group right now, so that should give opportunities to speak more than once. What else? And when you're finished with your sharing, just to acknowledge that you are complete. And we leave a pause after each person's sharing. So it's like we're returning to the field, to the field of resonance or heart resonance. Let me see, I don't see June here. So I guess I will begin an attunement. So I invite you to just take a few breaths, a few easy deep breaths to just arrive, to open to this field that we are co-creating, to this heart field. To this field of our deeper, our heart intention. And as we do this, I invite you as well to open to the unique spark of the divine within you, however you may perceive that. The unique gift and expression that you are. And opening to an invitation to celebrate and embrace that spark and what is emerging for you at this moment, at this time. As we come together to this watering hole. To this field that embraces all of us, individually and collectively, for our sharing this morning. So now, with one or two more breaths, returning back to our circle. And here we are. So the reflection for today was something that really spoke to me. Because I'm especially into self-expression. And this reading, this reflection comes from Tim Freke, Freke, and from his book, Deep Awake, which has some very beautiful insights in it. So it begins, for me, the journey of awakening is not just about transforming my state of consciousness. It is about what I bring to life through the way I live. The enlightenment ideal pictures the purpose of spirituality as self-realization. But there's another complementary pole of the paradox of awakening. Spiritual awakening is also about self-expression. This means engaging with the process through which the separate self evolves, so we can progressively express more of the infinite potential of our essential nature. It means entering into the creative process of life as a conscious collaborator with the primal being, and to bring new possibilities into the world. So self-realization and self-expression are complementary aspects of the adventure of awakening. Aspiring to become a lover of life means becoming conscious of what we are, who we are, and bringing forth what we can become. It is loving ourselves the way we are and seeking to grow into a fuller expression of our potential. So becoming a lover of life means reaching deep within so we can come further out. It means transcending the story in order that we might transform the story. It means daring to be a unique expression of the oneness of being on a journey of self-realization and self-expression. It means both knowing ourselves and showing ourselves. So the invitation today is to maybe with the question or the inquiry, how has your self-expression grown? Or is it growing and evolving as you come into awakening, self-realization, and heart resonance within yourself? So how has your expression, your self-expression, grown or is growing and evolving as you come into the awakening of your own deeper realization and heart resonance? So I now place the talking feather that actually I was gifted with last evening when I put out my recycling and trash. It was on the edge of the inside part of the garage. And I believe it's part of a raven feather. Not certain. So I invite you, as you feel moved, to share.
Good morning, all. This is Cassandra. I'm calling from Central Texas. As I was listening, Henry, to you speak about Tim, I have read some of his work before and was really happy to hear you bring him into today's circle. So I was surprised when this image of this woman that I knew, oh, it has to be 30 years ago now, came into my mind. She was physically a very unattractive woman, but if you sat with her in meditation, you would see this incredible light emanating from her. she was only in her 20s, and she had already found and exhibited her inner essence, that sacredness that we all know to be our reality. Self-expression is like that. You can look one way and yet express yourself, that essence, in such a way as to be beautiful. And that is so inspiring to me. I have great difficulty on Zoom calls looking at myself. And yet I know and sense within me the essence that is so beautiful, beyond anything that I can ever present to the world. I've also come to know that what I offer to friends and family and people on calls is so deeply rooted in my essence that I don't sense a separation between me and me, although I don't know how better to express that. So for the moment, I'd like to just leave it with my attempt every day to be authentic and authentically essence. And the rest of it, I have no way of changing or controlling. So being in that flow is for me that perfect state of expressing, be it expressing self or expressing essence. To me, it comes down to the same thing. This is who we are. We are essentially essence. And with that, I feel complete. Or like my friend Kate and your friend Kate says, eternally incomplete, but I'm striving.
Oriana, you're still on mute.
There we go.
Great.
You okay now?
Perfect.
Okay. Well, for some reason, my camera doesn't seem to be picking up, though. Can you see me okay? You can. Okay. Okay. So I was feeling the essence that was being spoken to and through, and feeling last night in my meditation, in that twilight place of sleep but not quite sleep, and again awakening with it this morning, this sense of the peace and the magnificence, like the innermost sanctum of coming forth at the same moment that everything feels like it needs to hold on and stay small and protected. And then there's this movement, this expression of something even greater that wants to come through, wants to be expressed into the world. And feeling it so deeply that the physical sensation became like a spring, like a slinky toy, but covered with velvet. So this oscillating slinky toy reverberation right in the heart that just, it's like tickling its way through. It wants to be expressed and it wants to be felt. And all of the energy that was feeling, gotta keep small, can't let them see you, feels to be, what if I reveal? What if I reveal? What is it to be revealed? Like unveiled. Like, and somehow feeling into it being safe. Like the world is really requesting, and calling. It's time. It's time we step forth and be seen and be heard and be felt. And to make the connection that is our deepest knowing of the field, that we come together and intermingle in a way where we read the field and we read the flow and we read the essence of each other, the way dolphins swimming in the ocean feel the interference patterns and see what each other sees and feels what they feel. So I am so grateful for our time together to just immerse in the watering hole, as you say, being able to drink in the essence of being and feel the like slipping into a warm bath and relaxing into being seen and felt and heard and shared. And I am complete.
This is Sharon in New Jersey. and I'll follow. It was lovely to see you just now, Ariana, standing and presenting. And now see all of you, and Cassandra too. You know, I hear you speak of the unity of yourself and yourself, the local and the cosmic. And I came a little late on the call, but it's so nice to immerse in this, as you said, the watering hole. And I'm just coming off of a weekend, so that the theme really fits for know yourself, show yourself, and this reading. In that it was my birthday this weekend, and I had an invitation with some friends up to a resort, clothing optional naturist resort in Pennsylvania. And so there we went. And so it was very much a relaxing into being there. And everyone's naked. So any body image, etc., just kind of disappears, which is lovely. We tend to like to live that way anyway. And so just being around lots of people that were living that way is very, very refreshing, very relaxing. And it was this weekend of kind of magical happening after magical happening of gifts from the universe. So I arrived, and shortly thereafter, a friend came up, and because it's all very open and people visit all the time, and this person was a healer, and she just walked right over me and started to work on me, and like this whole thing I had going on with my neck, she healed, shortly thereafter. And it was like that. Next thing I know, I'm put in a bathtub and there's Epsom salts, and it was like just this healing environment and delicious food and lovely people and wonderful conversation. Know yourself, show yourself. And I was conscious throughout the weekend of alignment. So every time I would feel the shrinking, which it's like, oh, I can't take all this, or I can't be this. It would be like, oh, just breathe, relax, open up, open the crown, ground the feet, let go, be. And so at one point when somebody was working on me doing something, it was like, I am a goddess and the universe loves me. And those words came to me, and I just said them out loud, and the whole, like everyone got that, that was present. And it was like, so it's very nice. And there's no agenda when you're in that place. It's flow. And so brought that home, came home today. I was starting to get more organized in terms of what's coming up next, and just wanting to continue to be in that flow. And thank you all for being here on this wonderful call and way to start the week. So I'm complete.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John in Boulder, Colorado. As a therapist, I think, and probably all of us that are therapists at one level or another, I always felt my task was to bring the or help others unify their inner self and the outer self. That space that rests in between those two is what we call stress, cognitive dissonance, emotional dissonance, spiritual dissonance. When there is a scrambled energy field that is not reflecting the deep self in with the outer self, and so there's confusion and stress and fears, and of course living in this physical dimension. Sorry about that. It seems like that's our task. Now, when I feel my deeper self is my God self. And then it is my task, using my unique gifts and talents, to bring that God self into union with my exterior self, which is often what we call persona. In this world, I feel as though I have to present a certain self that can be acknowledged, accepted, loved, and it's not always my true self. It's what I know has worked throughout my life. I did it with my parents. I did it with my friends. I presented in a way and then gauged as to how well am I doing on being accepted here or loved or whatever. And then I changed that persona, that exterior self, in order to maximize my exposure. In doing so, I forgot my deeper self, which is my God self. That God self has no personality in and of itself. It is not in need of acceptance, because it is acceptance in itself. And that is me at my deeper place. After years and years of trying to perfect something, I gave up the perfection of stuff, and I know that when I'm in that flow, the flow that we share together on this call and through Good of the Whole, that space is my deeper self. It's not individualized. However, I have also been graced, as each one of us has, with unique gifts and talents that we can bring that essence through in its purest form without having to perfect it through a persona in order to get the message across. When the message of essence is coming through, my persona disappears and I'm simply in that space. And I know when that I'm in the presence of others that are in this space, kind of like you were saying, Sharon, all of the, I'll call it dissonance of, am I okay? What's my body image? Am I speaking correctly? Am I pretty enough or whatever? Dissipates and goes away. And that essence is felt. And I know that that essence rests in every single one of us. And that is the true self, the self, not myself, the self. And when I am resting in the self, the dissonance disappears. And that's where the love rests. And so I've gotten somewhat good at recognizing when I'm in love and when I'm out of love. And the great gift of that is when I'm out of love, something triggers inside and goes, that's something that I'm attempting to do here. I'm going to stop attempting to do that, because I know that that essence is always there with us. And that's the space I want to be in. And so being part of our group, being part of the whole that we are here, when we come into this space, I am me, I am us, we are. That sounds like a Beatles song. We are all together, and I trust that love more than anything else that I could possibly do to try to perfect it, because it's perfection before I put my hands on it. My only goal is to open my heart to you, and then I'm opening my heart to my smaller self, which gives me the confidence that I can rest deep in the essence through this life on this physical plane. And I think I'm complete with that, and I just appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Hmm. As I am basking in your loving presence, I am reminded that when I am in that loving resonance within myself, how free, how available I am to sing it and to dance it. It's like there is nothing else to do. What a gift. I wonder if there is any small sound, or if there is any higher self. It's like we brought language into it to discern because of the physical, the 3D dimension. But it's when we go into that flow, when we are connected, it's glorious to be all of it in every form that it shows itself. Because of this gift of coming together, I see and I feel and I know the beauty that is showing up when I am available, when I make myself available. It's like I have been waiting for this all my life. And I don't know who is celebrating who. I am complete.
This is Henry. It's what has come to mind in reflection on this topic is the children's song, This Little Light of Mine. I'm going to let it shine. So the self-expression part is I'm going to let it shine. And what I also noticed is just in our presence, of looking at each person here, that we are expressing, we are letting our light shine. And we can feel it in each person's presence. So it's not necessarily a self-expression or speaking or all of that. It all grows out of the presence of that deeper knowing of who we are, or deeper understanding that that our self-expression grows from. And I appreciated also what was expressed about revealing, you know, the opportunity to reveal, or maybe to traverse that, the distance that was also expressed between the deeper self and the persona. So a part of me is kind of seeking or yearning for how best to create spaces that invite people to reveal that deeper self, you know, like in this circle, and, you know, and beyond, you know, of creating spaces so we each can let our light shine, and so we each can know and understand another person's experience. So a last piece is I've kind of been exploring a communication process that someone's offering in my area. It's kind of related to authentic relating, and it just asked the question. So, what? Even just asking the question to another person, what is happening for you right now? That, to me, that kind of gets right into a deeper intimacy and invites kind of a revealing. You know, what is, you know, that at least for me, in that simple way, or could even be asking one of the other questions, is what are you feeling now? So in that way we get into that, and at least my exploration thus far is able to get into the deeper level of intimacy and self-expression, or inviting person to reveal themselves. So I'm complete.
This is Dinama. The ecstasy of our communion is palpable. And we're reminding and remembering how to source our knowing from that frequency, its energy, the home frequency, as we like to call it, at Good at the Whole. And we're propelling one another into that frequency to source our knowing from that frequency, and let the linear mind that separates and labels and limits become part of that flow, but not the primary informant. So this is, and I have this deep emotional gratitude for us. I need us when I'm in my co-creation in this realm. I bring us with me, and I feel that I'm living good of the whole into life with every breath. And you are the propellant. I'm complete.
Good morning, everyone. It's Julie in Nebraska. Thank you. I entered late. I started a call at an hour before this one, and it went that long. But of course, the threads of this theme moved through that entire call. So just listening to the last few comments, I'm just going to share this visual that I got that's so powerful. Listening to you and listening to my friend is on the call with him, and we're talking about some global projects that are about this experience and expression of our cosmic child, of our universal human, of who we are, what's going on. So we were all, the whole thing was about some really amazing global projects that we're starting to formulate to really assist in that experience and expression piece. So as we were talking to him, he was talking about in a meeting with Jude Curvan and going in and out of unity consciousness and his persona, the Texan that he is. You know, we were talking about, and he was saying, I'm so not in my unity consciousness. And Jude says, no, you are. I see you coming in and out of it. But what he just did is what I just heard in these threads that just created this whole new aha epiphany for me, is that when he did that, the deeper self was in the bottom, and then he goes up into the Texan, into the ego, into the persona, and he goes back down into that deeper self. And as I saw that and creating spaces to allow our deeper selves to be revealed, and then hearing the ecstasy of communion is really that lower place of that unity. And we always often will go, no, it's this connection with the divine, and we try to go up. We try to go, the divine is up, our connection is up. And the whole reversal of that, of going deeper into our deeper selves to be revealed, is where we are one in unity consciousness and all connected in that ecstasy of communion, right? So this new way of seeing ego is just riding the waves of expression. So here's the experience of our unity, and then who we be in the world creates this expression, which becomes these natural waves that we have to go out into the world as Dinama, John, Nahid, Heinz, Sharon, Oriana, Karen, Henry, Cassandra. We are these individual expressions of that one. And and it's not about bringing it down into the embodiment. It's fully enlivening the embodiment to come out into expression. So I just love this visual. I have this visual of the waves coming out of that deeper self and that expression, and just loving all of you. And just like Dinama, my friend, I'll end with this. My friend said he just read my book and wrote a review and said, Julie, you never resolved the part about the local community in your book. And I want to know, have you resolved that part of local community? And I said, no, like you are that soul model place for me. You are my community, and my global community and the virtual community is just that authentic place of knowing where I can reveal and be revealed again and again and again through you. And so I'm working on that local community piece. It's fascinating when you brought that through, Dinama. Like I have some friends, but I have some ideas of really calling in local. But I sit in gratitude and awe for you all that this is so important, and that this model is a part of those bigger models that we're pulling through, that we need one another in community to be in that deeper self together as one. So thank you for modeling it and showing up and being present and helping to inform the next stages of what's wanting to come through for all of us. So thank you. And with that, I'm complete. I apologize for my tardiness.
Good morning, everyone. This is Karen in Costa Rica. Oh, it's so wonderful to be back. I have been without a laptop for weeks now. My home was broken into, and my laptop was stolen, and I've had people loan me some here and there, but I've missed Monday. It's just been. I was so excited to be able to be on this morning. It just uplifted me from. I was in not a great place for part of yesterday, and working to pull myself out to a better place, a better feel, and went to bed much better. But this morning, it's like I get to be on the call again. What you said, Julie, about this community and modeling, I realize that is a lot about what the work that I'm here to do with the Crystal Light Foundation, building these physical communities that model what the virtual communities I've been a part of before, and using that as the example to bring to the local communities that can help integrate it all and help people see how to live this way, how to be a part of a field of deeper, a deeper knowing within us all that connects us all. While you were speaking, Julie, that analogy that I've seen, I think Rihanna and others have used, of the hand. You know, we think we're all this, but we're all those individual expressions, but we are all part of the whole, and we're all connected. So, and so as we can bring forth examples and connect and learn how to be that, that's I think how we help. Help is creating a new paradigm of being on the planet. Like, how do you do that? We're creating the template. We're creating how we do this, and it's so exciting. Been working with Oriana, that has helped. Sharon, I'm jealous. It was so wonderful to hear, and happy birthday to you. And you reminded me the visions of the times I've been able to skinny dip with friends who sometimes they weren't even people I knew, and once you drop all of that away and all the judgment's gone, and you end up playing, and the feeling of being, you're like a little child again, and there's nothing else, there's no cares, nothing else, and it's the most wonderful place to be. So I can relate, and it's just, I haven't been there for a while. I'm looking forward to that again. And of course, when you remove the clothing, you allow your field to not have any interference. And so it's always a wonderful place to be. I love what everyone had to say. It's just, wow, I've missed this so much, and I've missed you all so much. And thank you for your presence. I can't even go back. It would take too long. Everything everyone said has just hit home and brought things to mind, and at some points that childlike excitement again that I just love to feel, and now more revealed to me about how and why what we're here to do is so very important, and that we are special. and that we are special, and that we do have something to contribute to this world, and that there is meaning and purpose, and that we can't give up. Because yesterday I was about ready to give up, and then I can't give up. And we're just on the verge, the precipice. If I give up now, it's too late, So it's time, it's time. And thank you all for the help and upliftment and the knowing and the feeling and the field that we create here. And it was so wonderful to be back, and I'll be quiet now.
So we are nearing the end of our self-expression time. Welcome, June. Welcome, Eric. So I don't know if there's anything quick you would like to share. I think you came on a little late, so may not be connected. You're welcome.
This is June, and I so apologize. My alarm clock was set an hour off, and I came in here expecting the beginning of our program, and I totally goofed. I am so sorry. It won't happen again, I promise you that. The topic today was so important to me. It's an incredibly deep and one that allows me to speak what I carry inside, and allows me to both express and then act out in the real world by speaking it, by saying it, by doing it. And I'm so sorry I missed, but I will go back and listen to the program. And I pass the talking stick on.
Thank you, June, for presencing yourself. I'd be open to a conversation of what came up for you at another time. So, Eric, any comment before we close? Oh, we don't hear your voice right now, Eric. So, anyway, but it's great to have your presence here. So our self-expression comes through just in our presence and how we can see and feel the light shining in each of us. So I just want to remind people that Shelley will be back next week. So just remember, it will be a different Zoom if you already have it bookmarked or something. Otherwise, look at the invitation for the Zoom address. And so I just invite you now to take yourselves off mute.
And Henry, can I just
please.
interject right before the beautiful community Om? I just want to publicly, with all of us here, thank you, Henry, so much for stepping in and holding this for a whole month. Look at the applause. Thank you. It has been extremely valuable and just priceless. Thank you, Henry. You've done a lot to do this, and I really, really, really appreciate you, and I can tell everybody else does too. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a joy. So,
beautiful.
Thank you. So, yes, I invite you to take yourselves off mute, and this is an opportunity for self-expression, either vocally silently, inwardly, outwardly. So I invite you to take a deep breath and we'll sound together a yum. Take a breath.
Yum.
Yum.
Everybody.
So thank you all for being here. Your presence.
Thank you.
My picture isn't showing up. When I say something, hello, goodbye, all.
There's some more self-expression. Thank you.
I hate to go.